Penguin, episode 4. Satane? It's your boy Icon with a DC television review for you, going over that penguin. And this time it's Sophia. But before we get started, hit that notification bell, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me get those sweet watch time hours. Let's get started with some penguin action. So here in these episodes, like they just pick up like one after the other. It's not even like one episode ends and then you get a break. It's like literally one episode ends and then the next day, the next episode, we're right where we left off in the last one. And here we get the Penguin's point of view, because in the last episode we saw that the Maroni family, or at least like the wife of Maroni, had ran up on Sophia, and they ran up on Oz, and they call him Oz. It's like crazy. I gotta get used to that. But then we saw from Victor's perspective, when he was driving the car, he saw them both down on their knees with the guns pointed to him, and then that's when he bum rushed the situation. See, now we get that same situation from what was actually happening in the conversation with Penguin, with Miss Maroni, and also with Sophia, where when she had both of them on their knees, the woman was just like, she was like, oh, you thought we wouldn't find out, Oz, about the drug that you're selling with Sophia Falcone, and you turned on us. And then she goes, I thought that, originally Sophia had you kill her brother, but she didn't know that you killed her brother, like you did it on your own. And then she was like, what's she talking about, Oz? So now Sophia's just like, oh shit, like, Oswald killed my brother. And then at that point, instead of Oswald being like, oh, that's bullshit, I didn't do that, like, don't believe her, like, I didn't kill her, he would basically then, like, he turns to Mrs. Maroni, and then he's like, oh, I never betrayed you. He said I was just using Sophia to get the drug. The drug is yours. It all belongs to you. And I'm like, he's basically outing Sophia right in front of Sophia. And I'm just like, bro, like, what are you doing? So then that's when Vic crashes in, and then, like, everybody goes flying. And then Sophia kind of like runs off to the side. And then that's when he gets in the car, and then he tells Vic, he's like, you'll leave Sophia and bounce. Because he's just like, well, shit, I just opened my mouth and I just ratted her out. So it's like now bringing her. But he could have salvaged that, because he could have brought her back. He could have brought her into the car with him and Vic. And all he had to say was, yo, I was just lying to her, trying to save both of our asses. Like, I didn't mean any of that shit. So now, like, after that, Sophia, like, she's bleeding from the head. And then she's sitting on the floor. And then she calls Rush. Rush was one of the people that tried to help her, one of the doctors that tried to help her when she was locked up in Arkham. And he also played Shades in Luke Cage, which is, like, awesome to see. So now this is where we get the backstory about what happens to Sophia. Because we did hear the rumors, like through the stories throughout the season so far, that Carmine ended up, putting her in Arkham because she did something wrong, but we never found out what she did. Carmine Falcone is back, and although he was CGI'd up, it was like, it was nice to see Carmine Falcone back. But basically what happened was Sophia was, and it was crazy because when you've been watching Sophia for like these first 3 episodes, and then you watch her how she was before she went to Arkham, she's definitely 2 completely different people, which is kind of cool from an acting standpoint. But basically what happened was she was running a foundation for her mother, who basically died of like depression and like suicide. There was a reporter that was trying to get access to the Falcone like bar, like to the Falcone, like estate, because she said that these women weren't just having access, because there were multiple women that were dying and they were all tied into his clubs. And the reporter was trying to tell Sophia, these weren't random accidents. Your father is actually killing these women. And then she said that your mother was one of the women that your father killed. And this goes back to the Batman movie, because he killed Selina Kyle's mother, like in the same way, like he choked her to death. And no one is bringing up the fact that Catwoman and Sophia Falcone are sisters. This needs to be a thing at some point. I don't know if we can get Zoe Kravitz like on the Penguin, or the actress that plays Sophia, if we can get her in the movie, but there needs to be a conversation between Selina Kyle and Sophia Falcone, who are half sisters. And like Carmine killed both of their mamas. So, and that was like the tie-in, because she was trying to prove, the reporter was trying to prove that her father was the one killing all these women, because the man has a problem. So then Sophia, she's having a conversation with her brother and with her daddy, and that's when we find out that like the brother was basically like a fuck up, and he like he doesn't do anything right. And then Carmine even said, he was just like, yo, I can't trust your brother with the with the family legacy. He said, so what I'm gonna do, he's like, I'm gonna leave everything to you. And then she was like, oh my god, Dad. She was like, I'll do you proud. And then he's like, I know, babe. And then then she started asking questions about her mom. She was just like, like, Mom, I never saw Mom actually have like like depression. I never saw her sad. I never saw her have any of these mental issues that everybody speaks of. And then for some reason, she died because she hung herself because she was crazy. Carmine basically was like, oh, you're crazy. And then he was just like, he's like, why are you bringing this stuff up? My birthday's coming. He's like, do you want to upset me? Like trying to like discourage her for like asking those questions. The Penguin is there because back then he was her driver. And then there was even a moment where the two of them had like a nice relationship, but then there were moments where she kept like unnecessarily like putting him in check. Like there were moments where he was trying to like help her, give her some advice, and then she was like, I don't need your advice. She's like, you're my fucking driver, just shut up and drive. So of course he's gonna like, if he's trying to like genuinely be there for you and be there as a confidant, and you just want to dismiss him and brush him off and just be like, yo, just hold the umbrella, you son of a bitch. You can't then be mad at him when he betrays you, because after she belittled him, he got kind of upset about that. And then she ended up having another meeting with the reporter because the stuff that her dad was telling her about her mom wasn't adding up. And the reporter was just like, look, if you can get me in the club, I can prove that your father murdered all these women. And then she had a change of heart and she was like, no. She said, get out of here. And if I ever see you in the club again, she's like, we're going to off you, whatever. She's like, don't try to discourage my dad. My dad's like a good guy. So then she gets back in the car. But now that she tried to play the Penguin, Penguin's whole thing is, I'm going to teach you a lesson for trying to disrespect me. So he told Carmine Falcone that she was having a conversation with a reporter. So then Carmine, like, he confronted her about it, and he was just like, oh, why didn't you come to me? And then he said that I trusted you with the family, and, like, this is what you do to me. And then she was like, I didn't do anything, Dad. She was like, like, I told the reporter to kick rocks. He was like, no. So then he was like, I need you to go home. So while Penguin is driving her home, the cops pull up, and then they arrest her because Carmine had the reporter killed, and he pinned the reporter's death and like 7 other women's death on Sophia. And then they chalked it up to Sophia being crazy, and then they threw her in Arkham. So that's how she ended up in Arkham. And that wasn't Oswald's fault. Like, Oswald didn't put, because even in the last episode, Oswald said, he was just like, oh, I told your dad about the reporter. I knew your dad was going to do something, but I didn't think he was going to put you in Arkham. Her going to Arkham had nothing to do with Oswald. That was all her daddy, because he was trying to pin all of his murders on his own daughter. So now she's in prison, and then, she's talking to her brother, and her brother's just like, oh, you're only going to be in there for 6 months. Don't worry. You're a Falcone. Stay strong. She's in prison. She's not built. Well, it's like crazy people prison, but she's not built for that lifestyle. So she kind of struggled a little bit. And then the only problem I had with the entire episode was when they introduced Magpie, because Magpie, like, is an actual villain. Like, Magpie is an actual DC villain, an actual villain that could have brought credibility to the show. You could have used Magpie for something significant, and instead they just made her like some random like cuckoo character who ended up dying later on in the episode. And I'm just like, that was a waste of a character. I didn't like that. But, she befriends Magpie, and then, she's being attacked by people. Like Carmine Falcone, he has his hands in on everything. Like, he owns the judges, he owns the lawyers, he owns the doctors at Arkham. The only doctor that he didn't have on the payroll was Rush. And Rush was the only person who was trying to help Sophia while she was in Arkham, but it wasn't working because all the other doctors were corrupt, and they were trying to like keep her down based on the orders from Carmine Falcone. So then when 6 months came, they found out like she wasn't going to get a trial, and they're just like, oh, you're going to stay in Arkham forever or whatever. And then she got upset. She was talking to her brother. Her brother was like, don't worry, Sophia, I'll do something about this. Like, we'll fix this. And then that's when she kind of like gave up hope, because she was like, fuck, I'm basically going to be in here for the rest of my life. And then she just went crazy and started smacking the shit out of people and she killed Magpie. She beat up a bunch of other people. That's when like Sophia basically just that's when she actually went crazy. But then, like fast forward, it takes us back to present day, where Rush picked her up from where she was in the alley after she got attacked by the Maronis and, by Vic crashing in the car. And it was Rush. And then, Rush was like, thanks for calling me. I just wanted to help you. Like, I always just wanted to be there for you. And then she was like, well, then why did you quit being my doctor at Arkham? And then he said he had to, because like that whole place was corrupt. But he said that he just wants to ease his guilt for everything that happened to her. And he just wants to try to like make amends and like do right. He told her, he was like, you don't deserve to be like, you don't deserve to be here. You deserve like a fresh start. And then she was like, you know what? You're right. I do deserve a fresh start. And so the next day, she goes back to the Carmine family, because they were all sitting at the table. They were all having a toast. She interrupts the toast, and then she tells everybody, she basically gave a speech, and she was just like, look, she said 10 years ago, this was the last time we were all together. And she said that my father falsified information. He had my mother killed. He killed 7 girls. He pinned it on me. Everybody at this table signed affidavits basically corroborating, like my father's lies that put me in prison. And then she said, not one of you actually tried to help me. Not one of you tried to save me. And all of you want me gone. She's like, I understand that. She's like, I understand y'all don't want me here anymore. Y'all trying to get me out of the way. But I don't want to be here anymore either because I outgrew this family. And tomorrow I'm starting a new life and I'm starting something new. And when she said that, I was kind of like, well, that was very mature of her because I thought she was going to pull out a machine gun and like murk everybody at the table. I thought she poisoned everybody's food or something. She just like, oh, you guys don't want me anymore. Okay, I'm leaving. I was just like, well, damn. Like that, unexpected maturity on the part of Sofia Falcone. But it didn't turn out to be that way because at night she grabbed her niece and she took her niece out back to the greenhouse. And her niece slept in the greenhouse, like overnight. When Sofia woke up the next morning, she went back into the house and put on a gas mask. And she basically gassed the entire house and killed her entire family. The only person that she didn't kill was the guy that was sleeping with the mob boss's wife. The one I forgot his name now, but the guy that was sleeping with the mob boss's wife. He's the one that does like the finances and takes care of like the books for the Carmine family. So she basically spared his life, and she pumped like poisonous gas into everybody else's room, and she killed everybody else. So if this guy doesn't agree to do her book, she's gonna off him too. And that was pretty much how the episode ended because now Sofia Falcone, she's the only one left. Like she's the last person standing. But she did say to Rush at one point, she said, Oswald betrayed me and I don't have any men. I can't take him on. And she's like, now I got to deal with Oswald and I got to deal with the Maronis. The Maronis got to deal with Sofia and they got to deal with, Penguin, and Penguin got to deal with both of those families. One of the things about the episode that I thought could have been done a little better, and thank you for tuning in, Sofia brought the drug in from Arkham. She said it was a drug that was brought in that kept us docile, blah, blah, blah. Magpie had brought the drug up because like she took it and then she was like, oh, now that you're going to spend more than 6 months in Arkham, maybe they'll give you the drug too. I wish there was more emphasis on the drug as far as like her taking it, how it made her feel and everything, and where she got the idea to use the drug to sell it on the market in the streets of Gotham. Like, I wish they would have elaborated on that more. But it was still a very good episode from the Sofia Falcone point of view. And now we have a 3-person mob war between the Maronis, the Falcone, because she's the only one left, and by El Penguino. So share your questions, comments, and/or concerns down below. Let me know what you thought about the Sofia Falcone episode of Gotham. What you think about the characters like Magpie, like the brother bringing back Carmine, and everything. Share your questions, comments, and concerns down below, and let's continue to talk about it. Check me out on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, and TikTok, where you can leave your questions, comments, and concerns, because, like I said, we're 4 episodes in. We're only getting 8 episodes of this, so we're halfway there. Like, we're halfway done with the Penguin, and like I said, I'm down for it. Like, I want to see what's going to happen now, because, everybody, it's off to the races, and now, like, the fight for Gotham is on. Sophia still has her drug. Like, she still has her drug, and she still has her connections with the Chinese mafia. Well, I just want to know, like, where do the Maronis fit in and all this? And now that everybody knows the truth about what Penguin did, it's like, does he keep the Iceberg Lounge? Does he not keep? But, well, he has to. He's the Penguin, so he got to keep the Iceberg Lounge. But, so share your questions, comments, and concerns, and I'll check you on the next one. So until then, check out my other reviews, because I have Superman and Lois up on my channel. I have Lara Croft Tomb Raider up on my channel, the Netflix series. We're still doing Agatha all along. And now we got some Gotham action for all you Gothamites. As we conclude, I'm going to New York Comic Con, so look out for that as well. So until next time, guys, for some more Penguin action, take care. Look out for Falcones, because the war is on. Until then, we're out this bitch.